Hey everybody, Jackass with ApexHead.com bringing you episode 13 of the I Am No Expert series. Going to be competing at Monza in Italy, coming off of Belgium Grand Prix, in which I finished 9th. And typically have success at Monza. And while it is true it is a fast track, it's also a deceiving track. There's quite a few corners, in fact namely that one, at the end of the long straight, that are very, very tricky, very, very deceiving. So you can see my objective for this race is to finish in 4th place, which is a position that I have not seen for a couple of races. So team expectation is still pretty high. Let's take a quick look at the starting grid. We've got Jenson Button and Felipe Massa in 1st and 2nd. Boy, this is 2011. And here I am qualified P12 just in front of Rosberg and the Mercedes, and my teammate qualified 15th. And Lewis Hamilton, wonder what the heck happened to him in qualifying, but all the way back in 17th. So typically I race with custom setups, but not true for this race. For the first time of the season, I'm going to go ahead and use a quick setup. And as you can see, I've got it set to the second fastest dry setting there. And we are going to be starting on the option tires and pitting in lap 5 to throw on the primes. And so yeah, basically I was just getting better lap times out of this quick car setup. And qualifying P12, that tells you I was really struggling in qualifying for this race, to be quite honest. In fact, that was the very reason that I ended up using this setup, is because I was frustrated with the ones that I was trying, and so this was sort of a last-ditch effort, and 12th was the best that I could come up with, so there you have it. I can't feel too bad though, at least I qualified my teammate. And speaking of, I have received contract offers from Lotus, Virgin, HRT, and also Williams. But that's sort of a lateral move in my opinion, so I'd probably be quicker to re-sign with Force India. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. Here we are to start, getting very, very congested going down into turn 1. Very close contact there with Michael Schumacher and the Mercedes, and a slight wheel contact there with Alonso. And now just trying to stay out of the sand, and now competing with Alonso on the inside up into P5. Let's see if I can steal P4. This is kind of a long stretch here. Giving him room. Let's see what he's got. Looks like the Ferrari definitely has the pace over me. Let's see if I can trick him at the braking point. No, going too fast and go wide. And that lets Alonso by. And now Vettel's having a look. And thankfully able to stay in front of the Red Bull, but basically had no business even losing just one position there, especially on lap 1. That was a huge mistake. And now heading down to one of the longest stretches of the circuit, not quite as straight, but very long and fast, and this is where the race will be won or lost. You can see Vettel now breathing down my neck, and he's having a look on the outside. Going to leave him room and hope that I could outbrake him here at this very, very tricky chicane. And cut off the chicane very badly. I was getting a little too conservative there, and then it ended up having to cut in a lot sooner than I wanted to. And so now competing with Vettel down the long straight, and you can see that I'm pretty well maintaining pace. Let's see if I can make a move here. And no, go wide, coming around the last corner. This corner is very, very tricky. It's difficult to master, and obviously I haven't. And so now coming around to the end of lap 1, I'm now chasing Vettel down, and that little error back there might have cost me 6th position altogether. And now Perez having a look on the outside in the Sauber, and braking in front of Vettel. Slight contact, that was ugly. Not able to recover into the dirt as well as the cars in front of me, and there goes Vettel. And it's probably just as fair that way, since that was a very, very aggressive overtake on my part. And now Perez having a go on the inside and gets ahead of me. So Perez able to exploit my error there. And let's see if I can try the trick that I was trying with Alonso that failed miserably on lap 1. Yes, able to get by him in this chicane, and this time cleanly. So now any hope of catching Vettel has diminished a great deal because of the error. My wheel did go into the gravel, and so now skipping ahead to lap 3, still competing with Perez, and strangely this would be my fastest lap of the race, and you can see this is actually the tail end of lap 2, just so we can see the pace. And there goes Perez, and not able to stay in front of him, and so now chasing down Perez. Remember, he did pass me on the last lap, or earlier on the lap I should say, and that was mostly because of a problem that I was having with Vettel. So now you can see coming down the main straight and using the draft to my advantage, going to try and outbrake Perez here and make it a little more clean than the overtake of Vettel. And yes, much more smooth this time. So able to salvage the position for now, but I have a feeling I haven't seen the last of Sergio Perez. Like I said, I really struggled with pace on this track. And I don't know if it's because the AI is just generally faster, but now you can see he's having a go on the outside, thinks better of it. And I hit a purple sector time for the first sector of the lap, which is a little surprising. but it is only lap 3, of course. And the reason why I mentioned it's sort of strange to have my fastest lap on lap 3 is because usually it comes when my fuel load is a lot lower. And so that kind of goes to tell you what kind of a race I had after this. It was a little choppy, and for whatever reason, sometimes it's easy to lose my braking points on Monza. And like I said, here's where the race is won and lost, and you can see the Sauber definitely has the pace over me. And I'm going to have to build up some kind of a gap as this race goes on if I want to have any hope of staying ahead of him. And here's another opportunity for him to pass me. I'm going to go ahead and switch up to a richer fuel mix and see if that helps me with my pace at all, and able to outbrake Perez, or am I? He's still on the inside, and now wheel to wheel, and he gets ahead of me again. But now able to hit my DRS, and I have run out of KERS, but using the DRS, and given how long this straight is, I'm going to save my KERS and just rely on that DRS speed and stay ahead of the Sauber, at least for now. And so now skipping ahead all the way up to lap 5, and you can see that I'm still in front of Perez, and this is sort of a familiar scene. You can see I'm due to pit at the end of this lap, and I've changed my fuel mix back to normal, and you can see I grievously cut off that chicane. My tires are absolutely gone. A little bit of fishtailing there, and at this point I'm just absolutely babysitting this car, and I'm going to maintain my line as much as possible so that Perez does not have an opportunity to pass me. The AI is not super aggressive as long as you're mostly where the racing line is, which honestly I don't know by heart. I don't know any of the circuit racing lines by heart. Basically just use my best judgment. You can see I cut off the chicane there, and not meaning to, of course, but that chicane is very deceiving. You can actually get away with abusing that curb really, really bad. As you can see, Perez and the train coming up quickly behind, and there goes Perez. And I'm not going to worry too much about staying ahead of him since I have to pit. It would be nice to stay ahead just to save myself a couple of fractions of a second, but not going to have that luxury. Going to go ahead and dive into the pits, and it looks like Schumacher is coming in behind me. Change my fuel mix down to lean just to conserve a hair as we come through the pits, and very, very busy pit lane, as you can see. So given the congestion, let's see what we get out of it. 3.9 seconds, not too bad. It's under 4, but ideally I'd like to hit closer to 3.5. So now chasing Alonso out of the pit lane, and we are in P11 as of now, running on the ice cold tires, of course. Now coming into turn 1, and Alonso very slow there into the first chicane. And I tapped the back of his car, but thankfully no wing damage. Boy, that would have been a complete disaster if I had sustained wing damage just coming out of the pit lanes there, but thankfully able to brake just in time. It's almost too bad that I didn't realize he was going to be that slow, or I might have considered making a move there, although I'm not sure if I would have had an opportunity. So now skipping ahead to lap 6, end of lap 6, start of lap 7, being chased by Hamilton. And you can see we're passing a number of cars in the pit, now competing with a Sauber, going to whiz right by him. Time to find out if I get my brake point right to stay ahead of the McLaren. Typically I found that if you let off the gas at the 150 mark and then hard brake at the 100 mark, it seems to work best, but unfortunately I don't have that mastered and sometimes lose it, maybe because of the speed along there. And so now trying to stay ahead of Hamilton, and you can see he's right behind me, and now having a look on the outside, and he's going to get by me. Now going to go almost wheel to wheel, and there is contact, and that did not sound good. And yes, Hamilton has spun out. We must have made contact. I thought that I had cleared him when I cut inside on the chicane, but he must have clipped the back of me and spun out. But so far, no indication from the stewards at this point being looked on as a racing incident. So that's obviously too bad for Lewis. Just call me Maldonado, I guess. So now competing with Michael Schumacher in the Mercedes at the end of lap 8, start of lap 9. And we are currently running in P6. And basically I'm counting my lucky stars that I'm even maintaining P6. You can see now Schumacher having a look on the inside. There are a number of teams that are much faster than me in Monza straights, and unfortunately for me there's a number of places with long stretches where the AI can gain an advantage. You can see that I was basically able to outbrake Schumacher there and make no contact going into the first chicane. And even right here you can see the AI is very quick. Schumacher looking to have a go, but able to stay ahead of him. Don't forget that's where Hamilton passed me earlier, right before our entanglement at this chicane. So you have to be careful there on that long sweeping right-handed corner, because the AI will take you on the outside if you're not paying attention or going too slow. Now the next big test coming up around this corner. This stretch is typically where the AI has an opportunity to overtake me. There's basically 3 places along the track where the AI has a chance to overtake me, this being one of them. And you can see Schumacher not going to get too aggressive, and let's see if I abuse this chicane. No, I do not, even though I do drop a couple of wheels in the dirt, but able to maintain pace and get a pretty good little jump on Schumacher coming out onto the straight. Now skipping ahead to the end of the race here at the end of lap 11, and you can see I'm contending with back markers. There's Jarno in the Lotus, going to have a look on the outside, and close contact there. He didn't give me much room. And that would have been a complete disaster, especially given that we're at the end of the race, but no harm, no foul. And I do still have one back marker in front of me, although I can't identify who it is just yet. I do have my fuel mix all the way up to rich, even though I'm running optimal, because I'm not worried about fuel at all at this point. And you can see I still am just not handling that chicane very well. And now we see that it's D'Ambrosio in the Virgin Marussia, able to get by him. And short of a major catastrophe here at this last corner, and you can see that I'm being pretty conservative, maintain an inside line. I've gone wide there pretty frequently throughout the race, but able to stay ahead and snatch P6, which is actually better than I would have expected given starting 12th, and a pretty hard fought 6th, to be honest with you. I was under assault from the AI the entire race. So let's take a quick look at the race results. Mark Webber won the race, Felipe Massa came in second, and you can see all the heavy hitters finished ahead of me. Schumacher there in 8th position. And now moving down, Sutil, my teammate, finished 9th, so that's actually a good result for the team. And Lewis Hamilton was able to recover and salvage a single point, finishing 10th, so that's actually a very good drive on his part. And you can see that we only had one DNF, which was Nico Rosberg. Not sure what happened to him. And Sergio Perez, don't forget, was giving me a hard time early on. He finishes 21st, so something disastrous must have happened in his race. As we kick off the highlights, want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to check out my channel and playlist for a number of other F1 2011 commentary episodes, including all the races leading up to this one. And if you have any interest in Forza 4, I have over 70 gameplay videos posted, including all of the July car pack and a number of the Porsche DLC series. And I also have a number of those with commentary as well, so check out my playlist for that. Next up, Singapore. I'd be lying if I said that I enjoyed it in any way, shape, or form. I basically don't. It's without question the hardest track for me. I just cannot get into a rhythm there, so I always kind of dread it. But we must grind on. We must see the season through. So that's where you'll find me next time, and I hope you'll be there with me. So until then, thanks again.